I've spent the past week like pre-filming as much as possible, and I really was putting off doing this video because I'm currently reading this book and I only have like 200 pages or something left. I think about 200 pages left, and I could easily finish that by the end of January, but I want to have this video up for the start of February rather than like further into February, so that's why I'm filming this a little bit premature, but I want to have it up for you guys, so that maybe you can go into February with some good recommendations. So I don't even think I've said, but this video is going to be my January reads, and I will also talk about the books I'm going to read going into February, or books I'm most excited for reading. So yeah, I'm just going to get into it. I will say I don't have many books to tap on. This is the only physical book that I've been reading through the month of January. If you saw, I got an iPad for my Christmas, so I have been using Kindle Unlimited, and oh my god guys, I have been like a Kindle hater for so long. Like I still love a good real book. Like I love collecting books, I love having books, I love like having physical books, and I love reading physical books, but I will say Kindle Unlimited has opened up so many opportunities for me to read more, because I feel like sometimes I hold myself back when it comes to reading because books are expensive, so I don't want to read as quickly, I don't want to run out of books and then have to buy more, and I'm also then limited to only the ones that I have currently in my hands, you know. But with Kindle Unlimited, I can scroll, I can have a little sample read, and then if I don't like it, I can maybe leave that for another time. It's unreal, it is unreal, and I'm so sad that I've only just hopped on the train because, oh, I'm so excited. Like, I also love that I love that I can eat or like do something with my hands and read at the same time. I hate with a book, I can't eat at the same time, like I need to be holding it open, whereas with this, just prop it up and then have my food. Are you joking? That is amazing. The simple pleasures of life. Also really like that I can turn my lights out, turn my brightness down on my iPad, and I can read lying on my side in bed. Obviously you can do that with a book, but then I'm the type of person that like flips over each side. Yeah, I can never get comfortable reading a book when I'm trying to go to bed. I need to be like sitting up. So my iPad has really helped out with that as well. That's my rant over. I just want to say how much I love Kindle Unlimited, so if you have the opportunity to and you can afford to, it's so worth it. It is so worth it, because I have read 4 books on Kindle Unlimited this month, and that's like 20 quid worth of books if you're getting them at a decent price, you know. Like not all books are going to be a £5, but like books are so expensive, so I've saved a lot of money by doing this, because I can just read so much. So I'm gonna get into this. I also made a Goodreads, and I will try and link it somewhere in the description or in the comments or something if you want to go and follow along there. Yeah, it's fun. I like being able to like rate all my books. That's been fun. So this is my iPad, and I'm going to show you guys the books that I've been reading. I'm going to say what ones are my favourites, etc, etc. I'm just going to get into it because I've been rambling for so long about Kindle Unlimited. I'm not going to lie, I'm not proud of this. I'm not proud of it. Let me get the cover up. I want to show you won't say that it kind of held up to standards. I kind of knew I was going to be going into it, but I was a bit disappointed. So basically, I read Den of Vipers. I read Den of Vipers by K.A. Knight. And this book doesn't have a whole lot of plot. Let's just say that. This is probably the most messed up, horrendous book I've ever read. It was really messed up, and I'm not gonna ever read it again. I am happy that I can like check it off. I probably wouldn't recommend it to many people. If you're a Wattpad girly, then maybe you would like this because it's very Wattpad. It's like 600 pages of Wattpad nonsense. You're kind of just waiting for something big to happen, and it just doesn't. Like, I thought the characters, some of them are quite interesting, and I just was enjoying how messed up it was, to be honest. Like, I am not very harmed by like gore. I like horror films, I like gory films. It takes a lot to like make me kind of squeamish. But this book, some of the stuff in it, I was like, that's intense. Like, it was a bit much. It was not. It wasn't an easy read at some points, but yeah, it is what it is. I think I rated this like 2 or 3 stars. And a lot of the reviews were much the same. Like, this is an awful book. You're not getting very much plot or anything from it. So I had that mess of a book. And then guys, oh my gosh, I've wanted to read this book for months and months, but I could never get it on Amazon. It always said like it was out of order, or I could only get it on Kindle Unlimited or something. Like, it was out of stock, or I could just never order the actual physical book. And then when I got the Kindle Unlimited, I was like, whoa, I can finally read that book. So the book was The Serpent and the Wings of Night. The Serpent and the Wings of Night. This is by Carissa Broadbent, and I have never read any of her books before, but I will say, oh my gosh, she unreal. This is the first 5-star book I have read in a long time. I loved this. I was obsessed with this, like, on a different level. I was consumed by this book. I was reading it while I was on my break in work. I was reading it as soon as I came home. I was reading it until 5 o'clock in the morning, and I devoured it in like 3 or 4 days. I was obsessed, like, to the point I was like putting off stuff that I had to do because I was so consumed with this book. There's a book 2 as well, which I've not read yet, and I'll explain why in a minute. But this book, guys, oh my gosh, you need to read it if you love romance, if you love romantasy, if you love a good like underdog story. There's vampires, there's twists, plot twists to hell. Oh my god, like, there's so much action in this book as well, and it was done really, really well, and the magic system and everything I thought was quite different. I mean, it's not that different, but I liked the way everything kind of worked out. Like, there's a good balance between like hand-to-hand combat and magic, and I just really liked her writing style. I feel like she didn't mess around, she didn't like fluff out the book. It was just perfect, and it's not often that I say that, because I quite often have a pet hate where authors fluff out their book and they need to make it like a certain number of words or pages or build up to something, and I'm just reading it and I'm like, why is this book taking so long? Like, you could have cut down 100 pages and it wouldn't have made a difference. So did not feel like that with this book. It So basically, I can't even remember her name, honestly. The main character is a human, and she grew up with a vampire father who found her as an orphaned child in like the rubble of a rebel city. So he's the vampire king, and he raises her, and so she grows up surrounded by vampires, surrounded by people who want to like hurt her, and she has to like, you know, learn to defend herself. And oh my gosh, I loved her storyline. I loved it. Kind of shows you flashbacks and like tells you all about her backstory as well. And then she's thrown into this this trial where vampires, humans, anyone can enter, and whoever wins can ask a wish, or like ask for a wish to be granted by the goddess Naxia, who created vampires. And she plans to do this and become like as powerful as her father, her vampire father, and then she'll be able to like defend herself, and she won't be like, living in fear anymore. So that's her plan. And so she's thrown into the trial pretty early on. She, like, the author doesn't mess around, you know, leading up to it or anything like that. It starts pretty far off the bat, and it goes on for majority of the book, which I really like, because I hate when there's a long lead up and then it's like the main event is really quick. But it was all really, really good, and she makes people, well, she's doing this trial, there's a lot of interesting characters, and you just need to read it. You need to read it. Like, if you can take any books away from this review to read, it's got to be this one, because guys, I'm obsessed. Like, I wish I could reread it for the first time, and I love when you leave a book and you feel like that. So that's what I will say, is I'm obsessed with this book, I'm obsessed with the characters, I'm obsessed with where the second book is going as well. So I don't want to say too much because I don't want to spoil it. I went into this book pretty blind. I knew there was vampires, I knew there was some sort of trial. Other than that, I had no clue, and I think that was somewhat better than knowing a lot about it. So yeah, get this read right now. So the next book I read after that, I was kind of like reeling, and I just wanted to read it and read it and read once I got excited about Kindle Unlimited and I had all these options. So that's what I've been doing, and I've been loving reading. It's just been bringing me so much happiness. Now that I have this all set up, okay, I've said enough. But the book I read after my 5-star one, and I was a bit scared, I was a bit coming down from that high of getting a 5-star read. I was like, what am I going to read? So my friend recommended me a new author. She really likes all of her books, so I read Say I'm the One, and this is by Siobhan Davis. Never read any of her books before, but my friend, again, was like, I really like her. This is what I would recommend you to read. So this, I have a mixed opinion on this book, okay. So I spent the first 200 pages absolutely hating my life, and I was really mad at my friend. I was really mad at her, and there's a lot of drama that happens. Basically, this book, I would only recommend it if you are a romance reader, like if you love the romance and the drama, because that's all this book is about romance and relationships. That's it. And I don't really like that. I like when there's a bit more substance, a bit more going on. But that is the primary focus. Like the first 200 pages, I wanted to rip my hair out. I was really frustrated, and I just couldn't get into it. I couldn't enjoy it. But then halfway through the book, something big happens, and grew on me. And then, okay, I can't be given fucking page numbers, but this book really frustrated me. Okay, where was I? So there's a massive twist and a massive something happens, big happens in this book, and I kept texting my friend saying, oh my god, and she was like, no, you've not saw it all, it gets worse, and I just didn't know when it was gonna stop. Like, it just keeps twisting and something else happens. It's crazy. It is crazy. So I feel like a ride, I feel like a journey, then you will like this book. There's a lot of ups and downs, it's a lot, but I don't regret reading it. I just wish it was written a bit better. But I kind of understand after reading the second book why the author did it. So basically, the first two books, I'm sure, the first one ends in a cliffhanger, so you can't, like the author says, don't read this as a single book, you need to read it as a pair with the second book. That's what they're meant to be as. So I stuck with it. I was up. It was about 2 a.m. I finished the first book after reading it, I think in 2 days. And 2 or 3 days, I can't remember. And then I finished it, and it ended on a massive cliffhanger, and I was screaming. This book gave me such strong emotions. Like, my fists were cut, like, I was fucking seething. I was seething at this book at some points. And then at other points I was squealing. Like, you guys know, if you're a big reader, you know what that feeling is like. But some of these twists and some of the stuff that she was writing, oh my god, like, my head was spinning. But as I said, the end of the book ends in a cliffhanger, and I was like, I can't sleep. I need to start the next book. So I started immediately the next book, and I stayed up until 5 a.m. and read half of the next book, and finished it in like a day or two. So the next book, this is the cover of the second one, Let Me Love You. Guys, this was very different to something I would ever pick myself. I keep hitting stuff. So this is very different to something I would pick myself to read, but because my friend had recommended it, I was like, I'm gonna stick with it. I've been yapping for so long that it's literally getting dark out, so I've had to add the ring light and take my glasses off, so that's what's going on. Where was I? So yeah, this book is, both of them are probably very different to something I would personally pick up and read myself, but because they were recommended and my friend like pushed me through, I am happy that I've read them. I enjoyed the journey, the 4 days that I read these two books, but gosh, I can't, like, it was a lot. The second book basically follows the same girl, but again, so many twists, so many turns. There's also, like, there's part of the plot for this full book that's like a major part of the plot. I wouldn't usually read a book like that, but I think it was done well. I actually enjoyed this part. I'm not going to say it because it's a massive spoiler, but yeah, I'm happy I pushed through. I won't be reading the third book. Yeah, I won't be reading it. I'm sure there's 5 in this series. But I think the 2 are like novellas, I think, or maybe the third one's a novella, I can't remember, but I won't be reading the third one. I'm happy with where I've left off. It was a lot, but yeah, if you like romance and you like drama, and that's what you primarily want to read, then read that book, or those books. I can't say I'll personally be reading many more of Siobhan Davis's books, maybe some, if they are a bit more of something I would read, but I don't know, her writing style wasn't it's a whole thing. But yeah, Perilous. It's a really good book. It's a really good book with really good characters. Similar kind of vibe to the Serpent and the Wings of Night. I rated that 5 stars though. This I don't think I will rate 5 stars, but I am enjoying it. I've just not been as inclined to read it because I've had so many other options. It's kind of like shied away. So I'm gonna be so I'm gonna be reading this. I'm gonna finish this, and then I'm gonna read the 5th book in the Actar series. Or is it the 4th? No, it's the 5th. The 5th. It's like A Court of Silver Flames. I think I've literally got it over there, but I can't be bothered to go and check the name of it. But yeah, I have had that for ages. I'm gonna read that, and I also want to read the 2nd book to the Serpent and the Wings of Night. The reason I didn't read that straight away might seem a bit dumb now that I've just said that I literally stayed up until 5 AM reading that book that I didn't even love. Didn't rate it 5 stars either. You might be like, but there's a method to my madness, okay? When I read a book that's part of a series or something like that, I've done it with Fourth Wing as well, I just don't like jumping into the 2nd book. I feel like if you jump straight into the 2nd book, it merges into one book at that point, and I don't like that. I like to read them as separate books. I like to let my feelings and my emotions come back down to earth. I like to have like a balanced view going into it. Whereas with that last series that I read both of them in like the space of 4 or 5 days, that was different because that was insane. Like, I couldn't sleep knowing that cliffhanger was looming. I was fuming. So whereas with Fourth Wing, ACOTAR, Serpent and the Wings of Night, these are all books that I love, I rate really highly, and I want to enjoy all of the books as their own entity, you know. So I have a lot of books. Like, I want to read the 5th book of the ACOTAR series. Oh, I need to read Iron Flame, and I need to read the 2nd book of the Serpent and the Wings of Night. I can't remember what his name is. So I have a lot of good follow-up books. I also just think it's quite daunting when you really love a book and the potential that it has for a series, and I'm just scared that the next book doesn't quite give me what I think it should, you know, it doesn't, it's not as good, so I get a bit scared, but I have high hopes for all these books, so I think they will be good. But yeah, I'm gonna finish this first anyway, because this poor book has been just collecting dust while I've had my iPad glued to me. So that was a big dramatic ramble of all my books, but I also am sorry that I didn't have many physical books. I will be trying to at least read one physical book each month, so that one, I'm not just always on my iPad, and 2, because I need something to tap on during these videos. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I love filming these book videos, so I have another one planned that I'm going to be filming in the coming weeks. I have a lot of good videos coming out soon, so yeah, look forward to that. But anyways, thank you so much for watching this video. I appreciate all